Okay. And, oh, mm. All right, there we go. Oh, welcome, Farfella. Welcome to the stream. You're just ready to. You're just standing by. But yeah, glad to see you making it. Glad to see you making it. You were waiting. Like I said, you were on top of it. You were just ready to shoot your shot. I don't know how much recording's going to get done today because I'm still a little bit under the weather, but I'm going to try my best. It's mostly cleared up, so it shouldn't be affecting my voice too much. Yeah, so oh no, anyway. Yeah, exactly. So how it happened was I didn't get con crud, which honestly is very funny because going through the whole convention without a mask, didn't get con crud. A friend of mine I drove up to the con, he wore a mask the entire time and he gets con crud. So I definitely rolled a constitution save right there. And I didn't get sick until a week later because I was hanging out with my niece and nephew for their birthday, and apparently a sickness has been going around my nephew's school. So he was like coming off from a sickness, hung out with them, and then a couple days later I go back to their house to help build a bed for my niece. That's why I wasn't here last week. And yeah, I was getting a sore throat that night. And I'm like, oh no. So yeah, I've been sick like all week. It's been a while since I've been that sick, but thankfully it is pretty much all gone now, which I'm really glad. Just can't hit too high of highs or too low of lows. But thankfully, Idle is very neutral. I psychically gave him my illness. It rang back through the eons to get my friend sick. Welcome, Karma. See, everyone had faith in me, and look how it paid off. I was basically on time, and everything went golden, and. Oh man, I know how rude of me. Honestly, so but to segue to a topic that's not even tangentially related. So I've been hit with the K-pop Demon Hunter bug, like everyone has, um, everywhere, all at once. So, and just the thought of Idol, like Rock Idol with like Blacklight Eclipse, being discorded, and then producing your idol as a part of it. Gosh, I don't know why, but that's just like oh, that'd be great. Golden? Oh gosh, no. Could you imagine me trying to hit those high notes? I would just drop like 30 octaves. Just so I could hit an A note. Idle as Rumi. Honestly, yeah, that would fit. Idle. So, yeah, you're right. You're right. Idle is roomy. Although, Idol also works uh, uh, as oh gosh, what is his name? Genu. Idol also works as Genu because he comes from a species that's deemed evil, and then through the power of friendship, he learns to be a better person and regain his equanimity. So that's my reasoning for him being Genu. Him being Rumi also works, but I feel like it works better for Cersus. Hear me out. Idol as Cersus as Rumi, and Idol taking the place of Celine. Maybe Topaz, because they don't want her to be ostracized by a society that hates changelings. So they tell her to conceal her changelingness from her best friends. It fits, and then Idol as Demon Taupe. It works so. Gosh, everything is K-pop Demon Hunters. The amount of time that I want to just put Idol in the Saja Boy costumes has been so strong, and I'm like, if I could draw, that would be 100% a thing that I would love to do. Fortunately for the rest of the world, I cannot. Idol would be better as Celine than Topaz. I can definitely see that. Idol is definitely one of those. Is definitely more uh, strict as a parentage. But I could also see Topaz going off into anxiety, which it's more about anxiety than it is simply what it must be. So that's why I think Topaz makes a better Celine. Plus, it makes more sense lore wise because the Demon Father is just like not in the picture, but Celine is, and like, yeah, Celine's not demon mother, is not human mother, but mother figure. And we all know that Topaz is just a bundle of nerves sometimes, uh, especially when it comes to, uh, especially when it comes to changelings. Just because she's the bugmare. Oh man, but yeah, gosh, I could. It's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. But yeah, so that's my breakdown of things. Blacklight Eclipse, being the Saja Boys, and Cersus. Gosh, could you imagine Cersus in like kind of like a punk rock band that Idol like trained her, so and she started off on her own, and then it's a war of father and daughter in an epic climax. So K-pop Demon is good. Yes, it is. Topaz is the very definition of I'll manifest myself a family. K-pop Demons is great. Honestly, I liked it way better than Spider-Verse. And from what I've heard, a lot of people also liked it a lot better than Spider-Verse. Because Spider-Verse seems like uh, someone forgot to take their ADHD, or someone forgot to take their Adderall before editing it together. Whereas K-pop Demon Hunters has those like really nice, slow, elongated moments, and you can actually see the action. Looks so good. You read the shit out of it. 100%. There's so many ideas in my head, but all they are scenes and characters, but no plot. No plot whatsoever. All every single time I've tried to create a story, all I can get is set pieces and a handful of characters nothing else. At least V has like, okay, so he has a starting point, and here's this his personality, and this is who I want to meet. Ah, crap, they're writing themselves now, and then 9 years later, oh gosh, oh gosh, they've evolved. Collection of one shots, easy. Gosh, if only I could write. If only I could write, if only I could art, if only I could read. I'm kind of locked out of the creative profession in all ways, shapes, and forms, it seems. How unfortunate. Or maybe it's a good thing, because uh, I, I won't even go any further into that. I know I need to read. We're at we're at Mothy being adorable, as Mothy does, which means I also have to remember what Mothy sounds like, which is always a pain in the butt. And yeah, exactly. You've released the beast. Yeah, I have to remember what Mothy sounds like, and it's also going to be tuned down a little bit because my throat's still doing is not that reading. You didn't specify. It's like a genie or a monkey paw. Yeah, the finger curls and you get exactly what you don't want. Make her a running gag where her voice changes every chapter. No, I'll save that for Cersus because Cersus is more likely to change her voice every time she appears on screen. In fact, the only thing that'll maintain consistency is probably Red Shock, and she'll just try on new voices in her changeling form. Gosh, I just realized we need to do another vignette chapter, or maybe another uh, changing perspectives chapter, where it's just like Topaz's day around these two crazy lings that she calls her family. That'd be fun to read an entire thing in Topaz's voice, like the first vignette. And even better, I could do the thing that I've been wanting to do with the changelings for the longest time, is that from their own perspective, they don't hear the chittering. From every pony else's perspective, you do hear the chittering. It's just only with those. You can only just really hear it in their natural form. Maybe if Idol was drunk, you could hear the chittering. Ooh. Idol gets drunk, you see it from someone else's perspective, and you can just hear his changeling tongue just kind of like betray him a little bit. Oh, Viridian meeting Cersus. Oh yeah. Uh, I could even imagine that Viridian like making a long train ride up to the Crystal Empire, and saying that her daughter ran off with a guard stallion, uprooted her whole life to move to a whole country, and when she just tries to be like, wait, no, it's not what I think. I was planning on moving out here anyway. It's so many bugs out here. Viridian's just saying right through that shit. And then, while they're trying to piece it back together, Cersus bursts into the room. Oh, man. Even better, Idol coming home to Viridian and Topaz arguing, opening the door, tries to just backpedal out of there and slowly close the door uh, behind him like he was never there. Topaz calling him out on it. Or no, Viridian saying that, calling him out on it. Topaz is just trying to like piece the lie back together, and then Cersei just bursts out of nowhere to make it even crumble further. Yeah, just like everything that could possibly be to just like completely evaporate any like plausible deniability. Oh, is this that stallion I've heard so much about? Yeah, right. Tenant. Oh, and a child. Interesting. Oh my gosh, it would be the funniest thing. And Cersei would only ham it up because she's heard stories of doting grandmothers from the other foals. So she just plays it up even further, which to the horror of both of her parents. Grandma Vivi! just, just, Cersei got a shovel and gave them a shovel, and they kept on digging. There's so many fun things that you could do with this. I hope we get to see a Viridian interaction eventually because it's been a while since we've seen her, and they've lived together too long for her not to be suspicious. Especially when a random foal just starts appearing in their vicinity more often than not. It, she's helping dig the hole. Exactly. You could even have a line from Iola, like saying something along the lines of, "Hey, uh, uh, or saying something along the lines of, and or gosh, no, Topaz would be thinking something along the lines of, and just like her father, Cersei made an excellent excavator and just kept on digging." So many fun thoughts. And we're about to not bully Moth Chaser. Is it really bullying Moth Chaser if she's getting everything she deserves, but not quite what she wanted? But in like the most positive way possible as well. This is the Moonshine chapter. Moonshine Anime? I believe it is. There we go. Okay, perfect. Where is oh yeah. This is what happens when I have to restart so many times. I have to deal with 3 audio tracks in editing. Ah, honestly, not too bad. Most of the time when I'm editing, this gets up to like 15. I need a longer monitor. I just need a tall monitor that goes up to the ceiling so I can keep track of all the tracks that are on here. Gaston, another mono track, please. There we go. And dip, boop, bah. Doing classwork while I listen, and once I'm done, I'll take a break for a couple hours. You don't need to deal with it if you don't record. Oh, exactly. I've been taking a nice long break. It's been 3 years. So I think it's about time that I've taken a nice long sabbatical. So it should be fine. The volume. Hold on. Let's see. Um, Find the voltage across L3 using the law of proportionality. Okay, on the electrical work. Nice. Yeah, my dad was an electrician. I've been thinking about going into the trades like he does, but then I realized my feet won't stand up to it because I got arthritis. But I also hate a desk job, so I'm kind of in a bind either way. Let's see, law of proportionality. Hmm. Yep. These are some funky numbers. I do math, not electrical diagrams. First year, second semester apprentice for the ABU. ABU. That's union. Yeah, but yeah, my dad was an electrician. My grandfather was a plumber. Um, so like the trades run in our family, and I would honestly love to be something along those lines. Maybe not a contractor of that nature, but just like something working with my hands. That's what I want. Is something that I can work with my hands. So, who knows? Maybe I'll go into like mechanical engineering or mechatronics or something like that. If maybe, I don't know. I hate college. A long and proud lineage of the trades. Exactly. And actually, my uncle owns an electrical company uh, with our family's name on it. I don't know if he still owns it. Probably does. Wait, no, he'd be in his 60s, so he might be retired by now. But the name's still on it. I only know because I see the trucks driving around every so often. So it could be very fun to just show up and be like, "Eh, here's my certification. Yes, my last name's on the side of the building. Don't worry, don't worry about it." No, I wouldn't be like that. Gosh, I would be so embarrassed to try and do something along those lines. Oh gosh, AC and the AC/DC both confusing, but I do know AC is the better of them for practically everything except for computers, and then you want DC. I don't know. I'm not an electrical engineer. I did want to go into that, but then I found out how much schooling I would have to go to do that, and then I'm like, eh. I I barely made it through school to begin with. I mean I say barely, but that was most. But I'm going to say barely because the only reason I made it through school was they weighted tests as like 70% of the grade and homework like only 15% of the grade. So I got through with only acing the tests and doing no homework at all. You better have done some actual reading by the time I get back from the shop. Oh, I'm sure I'll get something done. It might be a word, a single one, possibly. Oh, speaking of things that I've been doing, since I've been sick, not really able to use my voice, this college is stupid because it's too smushed together for anyone to actually learn. I know, on the job training, like if I could just take an apprenticeship with someone, learn from the ground up, that'd be so much more useful. Hands on, that's the only way I learn. Well, from what I've heard, college in America is you're taking a bunch of useless classes and then like two that are actually 4 year degree. So that way they can stretch it out to be 4+ years so that they can get as much money from you as possible. In our apprenticeship, you can pass if you do no homework and score 100% on every test. Hmm. Who knows? I might attend another technical college. the reason I didn't like the technical college I went to is that it was all self study. And while I do relatively fine in self study, it's I'm like I could just do this at home. Just let me do it at home. That's how it is with us. You work on a job and go to a class for 10 hours every 2 weeks. Interesting. Very interesting. Who knows? My stint as a pest pony might only be a very short one indeed. 16 to 19 is for study materials. I mean, that's like one of the most expensive things in U.S. colleges, as far as I've heard. Like, ugh, I've heard like $800 for like a textbook, and you can't buy them secondhand because they need like because all you really need from them is a one-time code to access assignments from the book, and then you never actually use the book at all, and it's just ooh. Yeah, I don't know which class that was for, but like textbooks are stupid expensive over here, which is very funny because I also have heard other stories where, uh, where professors have just told their students is like, now you're supposed to buy this textbook and it's going to be this much money, but I hate my publisher, so here's a pirated copy for all you to use. But yeah, I do know like electrical work is like half math, half praying to an eldritch god. So I would be somewhat qualified to do it. Exactly, comma. Which is why I kind of think college is kind of bullshit. So I might take online courses because I can't really do part time work right now, especially with what I'm getting paid. Mostly because it's like I work 50 plus hours a week, give or take. So I get very little time to actually go to coursework. So, ugh. So not driving to a campus is like top priority for me. I actually did try and get into cybersecurity a few years ago, but the but just spending so much time commuting to the campus is what killed it for me, honestly. Because I could do the work. I was doing really good at the core subject, but I was working a full time job and having to commute 30 minutes one way to the campus, sit there for an hour and a half, because that's all I had time for at the end of the day, to then commute another half hour back so I can sleep and do it all again the next day. Oh, it killed me so hard. English college is 2 or 3 years worth of studying smushed into 1 year. Honestly, I like that a lot more because while you won't remember all the details perfectly, you'll get an inkling of it enough that you're just like, okay, I know they covered this. Or at least it works for my brain because I remember the insane minute details that happen all the time. I sometimes I just can't recall until someone's like, "Oh, it's like that with that and so," and I'm like, "Yep, I got it. Here we go. Here's that dredge of information right there, ready to be used." Like for example, the quadratic equations were my favorite in school. They were just so much fun to use, and I still remember the quadratic formula. Uh, of x equals opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Like, I, I'll never use it again, but I remember it because someone told me at once in a very mnemonic way for me to remember it, and so now it's there forever. The only reason I passed most of my courses was because I already knew everything beforehand. Ah, fair enough, fair enough. Honestly, the reason why I liked math so much was due to the way that they taught it here. And it was only taught that way in one district, so when I had to move to a new school across the country mid-year, I immediately became top of the class or the bottom of the class because I didn't understand what the hell was going on. Because what they did was they took the 3 years of math that you're required to have, and then they're like, okay, instead of having like all these named courses, we're just going to blend them all together and then teach them based on their difficulty through the 3 years of required coursework. So like I had a very limited base of like trigonometry, but it was enough to learn a concept from a different class, and it just kind of like built on top of each other in a way that made so much sense to my brain. And what's even better is and like honestly what's even better about doing it that what about how they taught it was that they introduced a problem, had us work out how to get to it, how to get to a certain answer, and then they're like, oh, and hey, if you simplify this equation that you did in the middle of it and you found out the steps to get there, this is the formula you need to memorize. So you didn't just get handed, here's a formula, here's what you use it for, memorize it, and you're golden. It's here's why this formula makes sense and why we do it this way. And that just explaining the reasoning behind a concept makes it implant itself deeper into my mind than any other way of teaching. Well, try joining your local Abu apprenticeship. If you can remember all the formulas, then you're golden. I wish I had that. Exactly. Exactly. Explanation of why. Like that's the most important thing that your students want to know is like, why does this work? And now you can just point it's like that worked because you actually found out why it worked. It's why we do it this way. It would have been so much better for math. Exactly. And it was only in one district. It was called the whole course was secondary mathematics, and it was 1, 2, and 3. I didn't take trigonometry or geometry or any of those other named courses because they were all blended into secondary mathematics. And I'm so upset that I had to move to a school mid-year because then like one I had to move, so that sucked. But also like with math, they're like, okay, I was in secondary mathematics 3 second semester, and so they're like, I don't know what that is. Called up my old school, and they're like, oh, it's similar to pre-calc. I get shoved into pre-calc. I had no foundations for any of the. I had no. I didn't take the full trigonometry course, so I had no idea what the foundations of pre-calculus was. And I learned half of what they were teaching, like long division with quadratic formulas. Like I already knew all that. That shit was fun, and I didn't know how to do any of it. Or I didn't know. It's either I learned half of the coursework, or I had no foundation for the other half of it, and I was so confused all throughout that whole last year of required math. So I was kind of upset with that. But then I got to take statistics the next year, and I really liked statistics. That was fun. Algebra, and quadratics were, gosh, those were my bread and butter. Okay, here's part of the equation I'm using for the lesson. Oh, this is. Wait, hold on. This is an example. All right. 10, 8, 6. So it's dropping by 2 ohms every. I'm guessing that those squigglies mean load or resistance. I'm guessing. Let's see. E to the E1 equals E sub t times R sub 1 divided by R sub 1 plus R sub 2 plus R sub 3. Okay. E2. Okay, where's E2? Or is it explaining how to... Oh, okay. Oh, it's explaining how to get to the different E's depending. So it's always going to be 1, 2, 3, ET. Honestly, this makes a whole lot of sense. Now that I know what this formula is, this makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, I like this. This is a good formula. I really enjoy this formula. That's a fun one. I don't even know what this formula is called, but solving for this, ah, that's my jam. Then you can start answering shit. Hold on, let me get my pen and paper, and give me something to solve. I will gladly do shit. Hold on, that pen and paper doesn't work. Where's my actual pen and paper? This one needs to charge. Hold on. I gotta grab my notebook. Actually, why have a notebook? Well, I can start just answering shit on stream. If I can find everything that allows me to do such things. There's that. I definitely need that. Y'all can hear me, right? I assume so, because I'm not that far away from the mic. But who knows? This could just be subject of everyone's collective imagination. Ah! This isn't my actual classwork, but example. No, we can't hear you. Ah, dang it. You can't hear my funny witticisms. I will say, the classes that don't let you use a calculator, I had a math teacher. One thing I loved about her courses is that she assigned homework but never graded it. What she did instead was she did something called homework checks, which was a 5-question quiz at the start of every class. And it's just to make sure you understood what the concept of the homework was. So if you got it during the class, you didn't need to do the homework. If you needed a little bit extra help, you could do the homework, and then you were tested whether or not you retained that knowledge. Worked flawlessly. I really enjoyed it. Really easy way to boost up my score while not having to memorize stuff. The thing I didn't like about her class is that we had calculator and not calculator portions of the test, where we would do the not calculator portion, have to hand that test in, then she would give me the second portion along with our calculator so we can finish the other half of the test. And the thing is that I can't hold all the information in my brain, so I need a lot of scratch paper. But even like sometimes basic mathematics escape me like uh if I can't like just quickly plug it into a calculator. Like for example, uh, like for example, I would have an issue with uh, I remember one time I wrote down on a scratch piece of paper 2 plus 2. I did the whole thing just to figure out it was 4 because I couldn't do that head math. I am terrible at head math. Everything needs to be written down. Um, let's see. Is this it? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now I can open up a different thing. Where do I want to? Let's open up this. This shouldn't break things. I hope. 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 Yes, I'm using an R program for math equations. Do not judge me. I wish I could pop this out. Using Ohm's law, we can verify the law of proportionality was used to determine the voltages. The voltage divider circuit computing. We find that. For. Oh, you're not actually giving me equations. I thought you were giving me equations. So this is Ohm's law. Oh, this honestly makes perfect sense. Oh, you want to see my background? Yeah, I can show you my background. Hold on. Eh, eh, eh. There we go. There's my background. You have been beseeched. Uh, also, I this is actually how my desktop looks all the time because I hate looking at desktop icons. They just ruin everything. I don't like them, so I hide them all the time. Let's get rid of those. They're covering up the great artwork. Everything I need is in this hotbar, and if I don't need it, I will search for it. Everything I need is in this hotbar. But yeah, that is everything I need. Let's get that back. Put that back on, and I know I've posted a couple of times, but yeah, hit me with a question. Hit me. I want you to do it. I want you to go on. Hit me. Hit me. Hit me. But like this is easy, fun stuff. Like a lot of people don't think it's easy, fun stuff, but I do because I don't know. I'm a math nerd at heart. I do a bunch of fun stuff. Oh, and actually, that also check my DMs for once. I don't get notified of DMs because if I do, then all I'll hear is bloop, 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 just from a couple of things. So the source voltage. Okay, so let's see. Well, why did you put it like that? Let's put that. Gosh, I'm gonna have to relearn how to use this program. This is what happens if you don't use a program for a few years. And let me see over here. You thought you were going to get reading? No, this was a maths test instead. Gosh, calling it maths is just such it's not a tongue twister, but it practically is. I don't like it. So the source, okay, we're solving for x here. Yep. Let's see. Will my yep. There we go. Oh, why is my sensitivity so low? Let's just put more towards. Oop. Well, let's see. Oh gosh. Oh, that's why my stabilization is way too high. Well, actually, turn it to that. Oh gosh. You can definitely tell that I haven't played around in this program in years. There we go. There we go. So we're trying to find the source voltage. So x equals. Let's see. E to the t. Still not sure what e to the t is. Oh, is that? Oh. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. So is it something along the lines of there's several steps I don't expect you to know, but if you get, I think you should join the electrical union. Uh, you're asking for the impossible. It feels so wrong, but it's instinct. So let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I am getting uh, some things are happening here, and what it is ain't exactly clear. 24. So okay, hold on. I think the things that's going to mess me up the most is the 16 volts because I'm not sure. Um, what the 16 means. So let's just have fun with it, shall we? And so it's just like, let's see, do I have to solve for okay, E1, E2, and E3, so let's just have 20 plus 50. Oh gosh, there's still stabilization on here. I can feel it. I can feel the stabilization. Hold on. There we go. That's much better. So, wait. It's 16 volts, so it's like a second. E to the T is the total voltage for the second. It's 16 volts, so it's like a second voltage being added. Uh, oh no, a box full of live snakes. That can't possibly be existing. It's just slithering on the ground. Oh, the total voltage. So X is over here. Okay. Oh. So hold on. If X is over here, and you're solving 50. I'm not touching that. Yeah, no. Oh wait, and then this would just be Y, wouldn't it? We're just. Did I boil it down to something? Stares cluelessly at math. Hey, you're not wrong. Honestly, I also stare cluelessly at math all the time. So none of that makes any sense to me. You know, it's been so long that it doesn't make much sense to me either. Um, honestly, I'm not sure what I'm doing either, because it's been so far from. It's been so long since I've been in academics. Like, what's even funnier, Seth, is that it's been so far removed, and I haven't refreshed my ability in math so much that I'm just like, what? Can add, subtract, divide, and multiply. That's it. Fair. But if I miss it, then I'll post a screenshot to show you how they solve it. Because, like, it'd be 20 plus, like, 70, wouldn't it? And then simplify that even more. Well, let's see. So let's see, like, honestly, this should just be like 20x plus 70. Gosh, I might be overthinking this. I mean, it's what I do all the time. So I won't even know what to do with it in the first place. Honestly, that what so thing is, gosh, my reviewer retention's dropping off. I don't know why, but 10y equals 2 seventh 7x. I don't know why that feels right to me, but it's kind of it's probably never even close to the truth. Cowards. uh, I'm just going to give up now because this isn't a math stream because I can't do math. I I can't do this complicated of math. And let's. I mean, if we wanted to do something with this stream, yeah, do not. Yeah, I don't know. My instincts are saying to do one thing, but it also doesn't feel right either. And I love getting in those kinds of situations. Ooh. Oh, you're messing with my. Get out of here. Stop it. Thank you. Stop messing with my window. This is my window. I like it very much. You'll post a screenshot once you're finished with the quiz. All right. Thanks for keeping us posted. Because, yeah, I am also very clueless. My dad may have been an electrician, but I did not learn a single thing about the electricity wizardry. You still haven't watched K-pop Demon Hunters yet? Do it. It's so good, and it's like such a short movie too. Honestly, my favorite parts of that movie is kind of like the first bit where you're just hanging out with the girls, and then the last bit, which is hanging out with the girls plus demons. Why are you reading so much fan fiction on K-pop Demon Hunters without actually watching K-pop Demon Hunters? Never even heard of it. Oh my gosh. So, watch it, please. It's so good. it is like I don't watch movies that often. Honestly, the last movie I actually watched before K-pop Demon Hunters was the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie a couple of years ago. So this brought me out of the woodwork to watch this movie. Fantastic movie. And then the next movie I'm going to watch is FNAF 2. I was on my Twitter feed. I got curious about the angst with Rumi. That's fair. But like they're like so relatable as characters. It's so much fun. Honestly, that's funny enough is that's how I got into My Little Pony. Is that I heard a lot of stuff about it. I'm like, oh, seems interesting. Didn't watch it, but then I just read a ton of fan fiction, and that finally got me into the show. For example, the reason why the way I found out about Twi'lek and all that drama was that fan fiction started showing up where Twilight was an alicorn, and it just kept on happening. And I'm like, why is everyone turning Twilight into an alicorn all of a sudden? That was my introduction to Magical Mystery Cure. How much is that pony in the window? Welcome, Warlord. Unfortunately, the pony in the window is not for sale. Unless you're pointing at that window, which he is for sale. $20. Take it or leave it. Oh no, you're right. I did watch Superman. Superman was a fantastic movie. I I love Alan Tudyk in that movie. Everyone played such a good role in that Superman movie, and I just kind of wanted more. I especially loved I especially love Guy Gardner. Like that actor, I can't remember his name off for the life of me, but he does such a good job as anything he plays in. Oh, so you've only seen some of my power. Uh, yes, I did. And Idol as a noir detective, he's already a noir detective. Everything else is. uh, he's just lives in a world where no one realizes how noir of a detective he is. Also, Idol's more likely to take things at face value than an actual detective, so it might be so it could work. I could definitely see it in the current canon too. So when you say plush, I don't think you know. I don't think you know what that means. Um, uh, I don't know what you're opening up a wormhole. That is absolutely for sure. Let me just grab the box. Hold on, where did I put the box? Please, someone tell me where I put the box. Is that the most recent box? This is the most recent box. Yeah. Um, please, please allow me to open the box. So, this is about half. this this is about half. The, it's about half. Yeah. You can do a fine Nox and Solstice in the box. We're in there somewhere. um, I might eventually upload the box to Derpy. Might not. It'll be a fun time regardless. You need a Nightmare Luna plush. Ah, man. So the things I'm trying to expand with the plushies. Also, I just realized they get smaller as they go up as I try and fit them in everywhere. But yeah, just I'm trying to get different species. I'm trying to find how a good way to make griffin plushes. And this isn't the only thing that I have a lot of plushes in mind. We have more Dingling Changeling in here, some work in progress stuff. Hopefully everything is above board. Oh, this is the cover art for the book that I released a couple year or last year. That was fun. I need to make the new one. I just finished up that book while I was on my sabbatical. But yeah, I've been doing some things. Oh man, this was when I did like that Drawtober thing a few years ago. Gosh, I need to do that stuff again. Anyways, let's just get back to business. No, my Nightmare Wound plush. This makes a small, tiny Nightmare Moon. I mean, any plush is going to be Any plush is going to be a tiny wound plush. But yeah, yes. But yeah, my latest escapades on Derpy. Might upload the rest of my stuff on there. Might not. I don't know. I have a ton of stuff. So I don't want to just spam either. Because, like, you got the stuff on DeviantArt, on Furfinity. You have the stuff I haven't even released to the public yet. So there's a lot of things happening. And I might do it. And I might not. Honestly, I still want to make plushies of the whole guard squad. But I just need to find a good reference for Bold. Like, there is one picture of Bold in the entirety of everyone's. In the entirety of Derpy. And it's not color accurate because it's a night scene, so everything's tinted blue. I squeeze the plushies. Yes, I always squeeze the plushies. Uh, so I need. If someone with more imagination could help me out with figuring out the colorations for the various guards, it would be so helpful. I honestly am very lost. With any creature is welcome as long as they follow his number. Anyone is welcome as long as they do not cause trouble. Yep, the classic safe haven bar, kind of similar to that one bar in the Harry Dresden series. I can't remember the name. It's been a while since I've read that series. I kind of dropped off after, like, it really expanded. Like, almost felt like it ran away from the author a little bit. It's still a good story. It's just it got a little bit morbid and stopped being nearly as grounded as it used to be. Unfortunate. V, welcome. You've made it. Welcome to the stream. There is a lot that you've missed, but howdy, boss man. We were just talking about things and stuff and things, including but not limited to everything and anything all at once. Yeah, good times. Good times indeed. Indeedy. Also, some maths, which my high school education could not comprehend. Oh gosh, if I do go back to college, I'd have to take a math course. Uh, which I am fine with, but it's just so much work that I do not have time for. But yeah, we were just talking about my plushie hoard, and it's fine. We're all fine here. It's a reasonable amount. And yes, I do plan on adding more to it eventually. I actually have like 5 up on the back burner that needs to get finished. I just can't figure out the shape of them. So I need to fix that. One of them is a Kieran. That'll be a fun one to do. Need to find a way to do a plushified Kieran horn. Because the thing with the plushies is I want them to be as, like, close to plushy as I can get them, where they're not very intricately detailed and things are just, like, actually stitched onto it rather than just slapped on because, hey, that's what a plushie looks like. For example, like for let's take Idol here first. For example, Mega Idol has entered the chat. Come on, Mega Idol. Mega Mustache Idol. I need to upload this version to Derpy. See how his horn sticks? It is literally just stuck on. You could actually take off the horn and it'd just be a solid plate of armor there. It's not attached to him in any way, shape, or form. Like, that is the style of plush that I'm doing. Everything is slapped and stitched on. Not too much definition in things happening. Or like for Topaz, for example, those wings do not connect to the body. They are stuck on. They just come in and then you sew on the wing to the main body. Everyone's an earth pony underneath. And but like that's kind of the thing. But like, for example, like the glasses, they make sense because there's not even any lenses in them. They are just frames in front, but the eye is stitched on. You have the stitching on the heart hooves. And like you get where it goes from the saw line to the stitched line is where the hind leg meets the body. Just things like that. So trying to get like different species has been difficult because I haven't had practice with other species. the They have no cutie marks, and that's kind of by design because when I first designed these plush ponies, it was with the intention of the cutie marks. Most people's cutie marks are so intricately detailed that they have to be embroidered on. And I'm like, no, this is just a very simple plushie, no embroidery. But then I made an exception for the most recent plush, uh, just due to I didn't want to get stuck with questions of they have no cutie marks. But so maybe it's a thing that I'll change in like 2.0, but that just makes more things for me to draw. But then I'll make it more accurate to the characters. So it's a give or take kind of system. I still love the mental image of Idol taking place of Flurry's whammy doll while it's being washed. Totally unaware it's not being her whammy. I also That's also a fun idea. I love that idea. Another idea that I also love is there's a mix-up, and so Shining, seeing that Whammy is not currently in the washer, uh, picks up Whammy by his magic and just tosses her in the washer. So now there's two whammies in the wash. You could say it's a double whammy. And then Idol is way too dizzy after the wash to notice until that no one notices until he's out of the dryer. And by then he's like actually just transformed back into Idol. So it's almost kind of like that scene from Megamind, the end credit scene from the first Megamind movie. It is the first time since coming to the Empire that I truly have been warm. Sorry about that, bro. Honestly, I could. We talk about Idol and Circe cuddling up on a crystal hearth to keep warm in the winter of the Crystal Empire. What if they just take turns being. What if they just keep on sneaking off to the laundry room to take a spin in the dryer instead to keep warm? And. Sorry about that, bro. Apologize for the spin cycle in the washer, not the tumbling of the dryer. I did see a living plush pic where they described that the dryer is just kind of like getting uh, a really interesting massage. Honestly, because like as long as you're a plush, it's not going to hurt any. I think the crystal hearth would be warmer and less dizzier. Well, that's the best thing. If you have fluff for brains, it doesn't become too dizzy. You're just already kind of relaxed and disoriented from having fluff for brains. And then it's just kind of like a nice, relaxing day, too. Also, I will say that the dryer probably will get warmer than the hearth. Because as long as you're on top, if the hearth is warm enough to touch, then it's not going to be that warm compared to a dryer. I because as someone in the pest control business, the way that we recommend people getting rid of bed bugs in their bedding and any like fabrics that they own is to run them through the dryer. If you can't run them through the washer, that's fine, but you need to run them through the dryer because it's that heat, intense heat for a long time. That'll kill anything. Yes. So as long as the hearth's warm to the touch, but not scalding to the touch, dryer's going to be warmer. And plus, for a plush, going through the going through the going through the laundry would just be even more relaxing. You get a nice warm soak, which Idle appreciated the last warm soak that he was in at the spa, especially the mud soak, that's for sure. And then tumble through the dryer, being that nice and warm. I could imagine Topaz bringing out the laundry and Idle just like moaning at her like be like, no, close the door. It's too cozy. She's like, Idle, you can't keep sneaking off into the laundry. You're going to pulverize whatever brains you have left in there. Fun fact, no, it will also kill cockroaches. I know this because my company actually does heat treatments that will just bring a room up to bug killing temperature, leave it there for 24 hours. Anything that was alive in that room is no longer alive in that room. um, yes, they will survive a nuclear winter because their DNA is hardier than mammals, and that's just due to the fact that insects are hardier than mammals when it comes to ionizing radiation. But they die just like any other bug. They just respawn so fast that people think that they're invincible when they're really not. I've seen really bad places with cockroaches in my time that they were so bad that I'm just like, it would probably be cheaper just to burn the place down and rebuild it than having to us to come out however many times to take care of the cockroaches. And they were all dead by the end of the month. So you just you can kill cockroaches. You have to go about, but you just have to go about it in a certain way. Chemicals in the right spots, in the right places, and the right timings. That's all it takes to really get rid of any pests. Yeah, exactly. And that's just due to the fact that they're insects, because insects are just much more simpler uh, than mammal DNA. And it's like they could have. Uh, it's just the myth that cockroaches are immortal among bugs. That's the issue. Is because any bugs will be able to survive those sorts of things. It's just everyone sees cockroaches and they're terrified of cockroaches and they're like, they won't die. But every other insect is built the exact same way, and they are just as hardy, with a very few with some exceptions, but not a lot. So them being nuclear resistant isn't really too special. It's just because of what evolution gave them. because their insides are much simpler, so there's less things for radiation to damage and screw up. The reason why mammals are uh, why mammals and avians they're much more susceptible to radiation is just because we have we may be one living thing, but we have trillions of tiny other living things inside us that are critical for us to live. So if any one of those gets damaged, it just collapses the whole system. Insects don't really have that. And I could go on an insect tirade for a long while just because that's that's my field that I'm in right now. But here we love the buggos. Uh, Especially Topaz. Topaz loves all the buggos. But I will say, like, honestly, out of bedbugs and roaches, bedbugs are just much more hardier than roaches, and gnats have them both beat. Uh, with gnat treatments, like gnats are tiny. They're smaller than the size of a pin. We can't kill them fast enough. We have this one chemical that we use that is only to be used outside for gnats because and people call and technicians call it the nuclear option because it kills them because it's the only thing that we have that will kill them faster than they can reproduce. That's what makes bugs terrifying is that it takes them such a short time to reproduce. silly silly idea. Changelings are exposed to high radiation too long turn into ponies who are immune to radiation. Ooh, okay, I could see that. Well, actually, oh, mutating long term enough to turn maybe they're that's basically super mutants. I have been having gnats coming up my kitchen sink as such. I am now keeping my kitchen stoppers in. Yeah, it sounds like drain flies. Uh, or it really depends on the area, but most common issues are gnats, drain flies. Lots of things come up from the sinks, even mice sometimes. Not too often, but it does happen. Uh, thing with gnats is that you just can't kill them fast enough. They reproduce so quickly that you can't kill them fast enough. Yeah, yeah, you're right. That does sound like gnats. I recently had to do a drain fly treatment, so that's why I have them on the mind. Yeah, like I said, I did a drain fly treatment yesterday. I passed the quiz was a 70. Woo! Yes, could you give me the answer to that question that I did not solve? I'm very interested to learn of the question that is beyond my capability of high schooler. I bet if I had a couple more foundations for electrical work, we both overthought it. No, my kryptonite. One time, both me and my and one of my friends overthought a question on a game show because they used X as a multiplication symbol instead of a dot, which was what we were used to. So we were like, why are there so many different X's? And we were trying to solve for X on through all of them. And then we were like, we got to an answer. And then the guy just used multiplication across the whole thing, didn't solve for X because they were just multiplication signs. And we're like, we're idiots. We just turned to each other at the same time and just said, we're so stupid. The correct answer is 56. Wait, hold on. E to the t equals e to the 1 divided by the multiplication of r to the 1 divided by r1 plus r2. R to the 2. Oh, so E1 was 16. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. If I knew that 16 volts equals E1, I probably could have gotten something along this line eventually. I like that question. That's a fun one. I mean, x does typically mean to multiply. Most people see 3x3 and instantly be 9. Yeah, but we were both math nerds. So we see uh, 3x3, and one person might be, okay, so 3x times 3. That's how we are. Welcome, Z. Welcome to the stream. Cider tracks them, the soap breaks the surface tension, they land and sink right in. Yeah, there's a lot of home remedies for pest control. Uh, which is why, like, which is why an infestation gets out of hand by the time it gets passed on to us. It's either because most people will try and do their own pest control before they call in people and pay money for it. Uh, so by the time it gets to us, the infestation could be potentially very out of hand, and we know that it will take a long time to get back under control. Or it could be a very simple problem, and then it'll be solved within the next couple of weeks, and then they're hitting themselves because they've been dealing with something for a year, and we get it solved within a week, and they're like, oh, because saved so much effort. For example, we had this one lady with a rodent issue inside. She had been dealing with it since last summer. She went through a whole mouse season plus a whole year of trying to deal with mice. They were like, we would catch like 6 or 7 of them a day, and they were still not getting rid of them. And I'm like, oh gosh, sounds like a pretty bad infestation. Because with mice, you don't know how bad an infestation is. The only way to kind of get a gauge on how bad an infestation is how noticeable it is. If you're hearing scratching in the walls at night, it big. It's big. If you're if you're seeing them in the middle of the day, out in the middle of the floor, it very big. It very big. And so, yeah. And then we placed down like 16 bait blocks in the right positions after investigating for like an hour. They're like, okay, they're moving. Sounds like they're moving from here, 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 here. Here's all these stations. Uh, here's a 3 month guarantee if they're not gone within the next week or so. Have fun, and then we just leave. And I never hear a call back, so it must, or at least I haven't retreated in those areas, so I assume that they're all just gone. And if I was in that situation, I'm like, gosh, $180 to solve a massive headache I've been dealing with for over a year. I could have paid that last year for a little bit cheaper, and I wouldn't have had to deal with all that. Like, I would have been kicking myself so much. Had an ironic idea pop into mind. Idle the Exterminator. I, I, well, I think he would less exterminate them, and uh, he might just more likely eat them. Who knows? Or they thought you were a scam and never called. Of just kidding, of course. Welcome, Master. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the last half hour of the stream. Oh, Chet, the Aster is the buddy I drove to Everfree with. That somehow got con crud. But I mean, he went to 3 conventions. I only went to one, so maybe it was just us having uh, just exposure levels. Honestly, looking forward to the night out of town. Me too. It's been like a couple of weeks since we went out to D's. So I'm glad. I think I'm just going to get. I'm already thinking about dinner right now, and we're still 6 hours away from that. Don't worry, we just have fun here. I'm not going to call you out that hard. But yeah, I I mean, given how Idol reacted to Topaz's death room, I don't think he would make a very good exterminator, or he would make the best exterminator ever because he knows how a bug thinks. I will say the amount of times I'm like, I wish I had X-ray or like insect locating vision so I could pinpoint exactly. Okay, they're right there, and oh, there's a hive right there I can get. uh, Gosh, and honestly, it's kind of interesting working in pest control because now I'll do my own pest control. I know all the chemicals that go into it and the proper ratios as well. We had this one lady. I felt so bad for her. She was dealing with this really bad beetle problem. I came by uh, and and solved the issue for a little bit, but then had to come back for a retreat because she actually told us it was carpet beetles rather than regular beetles. And so I went on her word, treated for carpet beetles rather than regular beetles. And they're just wholly different insects that you have to treat completely differently because of how they go. So I felt bad for her not going with my gut and just treating for beetles. But by the time I was coming back, she was spraying her own pesticides in there. And thankfully, she got a pesticide that was okay to use indoors. But it's the one that we use outdoors because it's not nearly as effective as our indoor solution. It was like, oh, you were so close to being on the right track. If you had literally like just uh, picked out what we said we were going to use, then you then it would have also gotten the job done. See you in a bit, Aster. Uh, Body swapped af- How does I am curious. How does an ice cream machine swap between Idle and Topaz? I know it's malfunctioning, but that's a really big malfunction. It's like, why do we even have that lever? But oh gosh, gosh, I could honestly. Here's a backtrack to what we were talking about like a half hour ago. The Adventures of Officer Friendly, and it's just a bunch of short stories of Idle as Officer Friendly and like the mishaps he gets in being mistaken for a toy. Because didn't we decide that like uh, the poison joke's effect on Idle would he would not only turn into a plush, but he would be only able to turn into other toys as well. So it just makes it even worse. If I don't see you before the stream ends, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'm going to be seeing you in like an hour and a half. Don't say that. Uh, Tobe has shifts into herself while in Idol's body and can't figure out how to change back. I mean, I mean, she would be interested in shape shifting. Although I imagine like her ability to shapeshift is just like she can only shapeshift into like uncanny versions of what she wants to shapeshift into. Twilight has no idea she was sleep deprived when she made the ice cream maker. Stop in the name of friendship. Exactly. Oh man, but yeah, there's a lot of fun ideas that we can have with Officer Friendly, both as Idol cosplaying as Officer Friendly and Officer Friendly in the fluff. I am back from my sodden trudge to the shop. Has reading been done? Possibly. Maybe. No, no, it's not been done. But it will be. Tune in next week. The to be continued. Dun, 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 dun. Glad to hear it's raining over there. I could use it. We could use some good rain over here. Vidrick had no idea what they were making when they made Idol. I mean, look how multiversal the character is. Honestly, I think they did have an idea of what they were doing when they were making Idol. They wanted to make someone that could slot into any story and be the perfect background character, and they were very successful in that endeavor. And Idol desperately wants to be a background character, but people keep on shoving him into the spotlight. Yeah, we haven't had rain since spring, so yeah, it's been a hot minute for us too. I mean, we are a desert, but it's been a very dry. It was a very dry winter, followed by a very dry summer, and some people are saying it's going to be a very dry winter again. Although there are still others that are like, nope, it's going to be an insane winter as well. So hopefully, well, thing is if it's an insane winter, there's going to be more days off. Which I kind of want and kind of don't at the same time. Because I kind of do want a crazy winter because I like winter. I also don't want a crazy winter because I have to work out in the weather. And driving snowy roads just suck no matter what you're doing. Thankfully, all outside door treatments are just like on hold. But still, it kind of sucks. I read your note, comma, and I thought you wrote the law of procrastination. Boop. I almost forgot to get back onto this part. Oh, thankfully no one sent me anything. Idol is relatable? Oh, absolutely. And that's why he's so much fun. We get to just we just get to have fun things happen to him all the time. We need more Cersus and Celestia moments. I think they're going to be put on pause for quite a bit since idols, but since they're all in the Crystal Empire, and the whole thing going on there. Maybe Cersus hanging out with Luna. That'd be a fun thing. And maybe Luna pulls Celestia in, or they just get some quality ant time. with Cersei as she adjusts to the Empire. Actually, wait, Cersei isn't in the Empire yet. I forgot that Cersei isn't in the Empire yet. It's just Topaz. Celestia and Luna could always visit, but given how little they visit things even in the show, I have a feeling that they won't be in the Crystal Empire again until Princess Smile and Wave happens, which is still quite a bit of ways away. So, I mean, not too far away. I mean, we're at the beginning of season 3. So we only have to wait one more season for Princess Smile and Wave where Celestia and Luna visits the Empire. It'll be fine. Everything's going to be just fine. Oh, have a good night, Karma. Have fun. Don't add to the population. Don't subtract from the population. And if you don't get arrested, but if you do, assert dominance quickly or something like that. But this isn't the show. But it is still canon to the show. So while the princesses might do things that we don't see on screen, they mostly follow the show's events to the T. For example, Idol telling Luna to overplay her hand about being old-fashioned to make her even more relatable. All Idol's idea. Turns out everything is Idol's fault. I'll be your one phone call. I'm sorry, officer. He did not follow the weekend safety brief. Oh, man. What other misadventures could a plushie have? Could a plushed idol get into? Because I think we've already gone over like all the washing machine shenanigans he could get into. But what other things? Let's see. Accidentally finding his way into Lost and Found? Honestly, I feel like it has to be mostly machine based. Or a child abducting him by complete accident because he was caught wandering the streets without an escort. Oh, you were telling us about this story for a while, or a little bit ago. It seems very interesting. Uh, Honestly, I've read a story once where Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon were actually not evil. The magic that they used to get there was, but Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon were like Celestia and Luna's like final forms as they mature into their magic. Because according to that story, I can't remember which story was from, which is a shame. But it kind of makes it so that their current versions of themselves are more like adolescents. Like they're mature, but they're not fully grown into their power yet, and so as they age, they'll become more like Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon. And Luna's bout of insanity and banishment to the moon actually sent her back in terms of maturity and age, uh, back a few centuries, and that's how much it depowered her. Although I love the idea of Sunset and Sunburst being siblings. Honestly, I wish that that was explored in the show at all, because that would have just been so good, and an even better way to like tie the universes of EQG and Equestria together, other than just saying, "Yep, they take place in the same universe. Trust us, bro." If you suddenly had full, uh, uh, like, and that would explain so much of like why they didn't keep in contact with each other, um, for Sunburst and Starlight, because he's just kind of trying to find his sister. She disappeared decades ago. Oh man, and it would add a lot to his quirky character. And gosh, and honestly, it feels like it's mostly just due to their colorations being similar. But it'd be so much fun. It'd just be a fun character dynamic, because then you could actually have them meeting up, and you could have like a heartfelt family reunion and whatnot. It'd be fun. Anyways, I should probably get back to reading eventually, right? Now that karma's karma's away, now it's time to get some work done. Oh gosh, I would love to have that trope keep going on. But yeah, if anyone wants to help me like figure out colorations uh for the guard squad, just like actually like let me know, because I can't. I'm too picky, and I don't like anything that I pick ever. Which is why my horse is white, because I can't choose a multicolored version of him. He'll just stay black and white forever. Banishment. Why not make that canon to the Idolverse? I mean, that is whatever is canon and not canon to the Idolverse is completely up to V. So if he wants to weigh in on whether or not Sunburst is related to Sunset, that is completely up to him as the author. I will say it's canon until V says it's not canon. My other horse is more colorful. Yes, Solstice is more colorful, but this is after years uh, of me being in the fandom. Like, honestly, if I could change to a different OC, it would most likely be Solstice. But it's kind of too late for that, because, I have this whole brand thing of being Equinox. So now Solstice is just my shadow. But yeah, I honestly wish I kind of created Solstice to begin with, because it's kind of boring to draw Equinox, because there's not much I can do with him. V, we're wondering, is Sunset and Sunburst, are they siblings in the Idolverse? We very much want it to happen, but we want the author's confirmation. we would love to have we would have Sunburst and Sunset be siblings. Yes. Yeah, they're canon. It's canon now. Oh gosh. There's so many things we could make canon. Oh, them them being you said yes already. Ah, dang it. You don't know. No. Their names are similar. They have similar colorations. They're about the same age. Come on, it's perfect. It's perfect for them to be siblings. They're both canon to the idol. Exactly. Yeah, I know like the Idol universe kind of takes place canon to the show universe until it eventually deviates from the show, but so far it hasn't. So we're saying the show is still canon. But it's never been said in the show whether or not they're siblings, so please. Also, kind of makes sense for Sunburst to be kind of like the younger sibling, and then him working on his magic to uh, go to the gift school of gifted unicorns, because that's the only way he's going to get out of his hometown and go and look for his sister. And then he keeps studying up on spells and whatnot because he wants to try and find his sister, and he thinks only magic can help him do that. And so he moves to the Crystal Empire to learn even more ancient spells. So maybe he could possibly find Sunset eventually. Maybe, possibly. I'm just saying, it'd be really cool. It would really add depth to his character. And then they could have a really cute reunion after all these years. And Sunset went through a whole character arc, and Sunburst also went through a whole character arc. And now they're meeting each other, not as not as like young fools anymore, but just like as grown-ups, and they get to meet each other all over again. Ah, it has potential to be epic. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, there's so many things that can be canon to the Idolverse. It will be very fun. And not to make myself canon in the Idolverse, but I'm just thinking because there was one because I was a cameo uh in Karma's story. I haven't gotten to that part of Karma's story, but I'm going to say Karma's slightly canon. Hasn't been proven. Well, it has been proven wrong yet. But just the idea of my character also being background characters in everyone else's stories as I voice them, also kind of funny. Because I never want to be a main character. Isn't Sunburst thing that he's really well learned in magic but lacks the mana capacity for advanced spell casting? Exactly. And what is Sunset? Lots of mana capacity, but doesn't really have uh, much magic theory underneath her belt. She eventually gets that through schooling, but she was mostly just a powerhouse. So it works so good. By the way, I forms a junior guard in the Empire to teach foals some basic skills, things similar to the scouting program. Ooh, that could be fun. That could be very fun. Although I could also imagine Idol like everyone thinking this is a good idea, and then it just completely goes off the rails because Idol's not entirely sure what's appropriate for foals to learn. It's like today, class, we're going to learn how to make a we're going to learn how to do tourniquets. Just something like very off the wall. Like he has an obstacle course that's like pretty much the guard course, and everyone's like, "I don't, you can't do this. You can't do it like this. You have to make it like not. This isn't boot camp. This is a day camp for foals to go to." Yeah, first aid, basic first aid. Not here's how to do. Here's not here's how to do triage. But yeah, like Idol would probably either be the most chill scout instructor or the most intense scout instructor, and there is no in between. When you put that first one in V, I was like, Idle, Mr. Idle, I cut myself. Idle picking out the bone saw. Shame. Just super intense or super lax. Nothing in between. Mr. Idle, I cut myself. Well, rub some dirt in and spit on it. Idle, no. Idle doesn't find the obstacles to be that difficult. I mean, when you can walk on walls, obstacle courses are kind of much easier. The only reason he had a hard time with his obstacle course was because Shining decided to land on him. I don't know. We have bandages. I have resin. They don't. Just Topaz reigning in Idle is just absolutely, gosh. All horse words have been ruined for me because the image I get when I just said Topaz reigning in Idle is Topaz literally reigning in Idle in the way that you know. Idle skeptically. Children are made of snot. Oh my gosh. Resin isn't snot. Wait, is resin snot? Ew. Just. Man, gosh. Honestly, this stream's been off the rails, and I blame still being a little bit sick on it. I take no responsibility for my actions this stream. If I did a good job, I take full responsibility. If not, no one takes responsibility. This is everyone else's. See, I'm a true leader. I'm delegating the the negative consequences to everyone else and only take the good ones for myself. Gosh, oh man. Gosh, good thing I'm wrapping up the stream soon because oh, nothing's been done. It was a mistake, a fun mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. Gosh, that image of Topaz raiding an idol just only keeps getting worse. Not in that way, but in the more cringy way, where it's like playing like a YouTube video in my mind of that popping up on screen with the sexy with Careless Whisper going on in the background. My brain is completely fried, and I think that's honestly this is honestly probably the best spot to end the stream before it goes any more off the deep end. The mental image of multiple versions of Idol sitting at a card table playing cards. At least one of them is a changeling queen. I mean, we kind of did get that with Across the Idolverse, which now I need to read now that I have the context of of Across the Spider-Verse, because I hadn't watched that movie when I first read that fic, so I think I got lost a while into that. It was a fun story, but I just didn't get half of it. But anyway, I better end stream now. So I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye bye. Hopefully I will see y'all next week. If not, it might happen later. Next week's definite possibility. Week after, probably more definite possibility. But yeah, I shall see you later. Bye. See ya.